Well, God has blessed me with some extra serotonin in my brain, so I'm always positive, which is good for this podcast, right? I'm always finding a way. I'm always optimistic, always finding solutions. Yes, even during the struggles, I believe like you have to continue to deal with the struggles. You can't ignore them, but at the same time, you have to think of a positive path forward. And for me, I thought, well, I was helping high school students for so many years. Now let me help entrepreneurs, because I did a lot of things right, but I also made a lot of mistakes, which kind of certifies me to help people start and grow businesses, right? Because I could be like, don't do that. I did that. Here's what happened.
Let's repeat the non-conformist oath. I promise to be different. I promise to be unique. I promise not to repeat things other people say.
Welcome back, Positive Blatherings, and don't you dare forget, brought to you by Salvatore's. My good friend Sam is crushing it once again with a new store here in Bushnell's Basin. New-ish. It's still new to me. I still like the fact that I can walk over and grab a slice. So make sure you check out salvatores.com. Plus, they're hiring. They're always hiring. So if you want a job with work for a great company they have a lot of possibilities for advancement, check out salvatores.com. All right, so salvatores.com. My guest today needs no introduction, so I'm just not going to introduce him. We've been going back and forth about having this dude on my podcast for years. I think it was like 10 times, and I canceled or rescheduled 3 of them. You've rescheduled 3 of them or whatever. We're back and forth.
We're just so damn popular.
David Mammano, welcome to Positive Slatherings. I said it.
I would call this podcast Positive Slatherings, just to get a little smile.
Because we like to slather on
we are going to be all
cream cheese
slathered
on the bagel
up after this.
So Dave comes in here a lot. We've worked together quite closely over the last couple of years.
More than that. I think I was one of your first clients back in the day, right? So
I don't think so. I don't think so. But nice try.
Come on.
But I don't even recall how we got introduced. I think we got introduced through someone else, but I can't quite recall.
Don't know. All I know is when I wanted to do, I was doing my podcast on, Zoom, my computer, Yeti microphone.
Yeah.
Just for, rustic savings, whatever. But when I really had a powerful guest like a Kendra, Scott, et cetera, I was like, all right, this has got to be professional. I would call you. And then I was able to finally afford you every time I do my podcast now. So there we go.
And you can find the David Mammano Show, of course, on the Gotham network. And he's doing really well there with all of the, you've had some really incredible guests over the years. And I think it always makes me chuckle because you're like, oh, this is when I got them before they blew up, and now they won't answer my phone calls. Pretty much, yeah. And that seems to be kind of like a trend with a lot of those people.
Yeah.
That although some of them still talk to you, but it's like the bigger they get, the more handlers they have, and those handlers are the gatekeepers to everything.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, probably my biggest guest, well, I've had a few, but, Kendra Scott Jewelry. I met her when she was first starting out in a class we were taking together, and we're still friends. Like I was texting her the other day. So we're friends, which is nice. But people like, Ed Mylett, who's a big, influencer and one of the richest guys around, I got him right before he exploded. And I
remember that podcast. He was like at the beach.
He was at his beach house.
Yeah,
no, that actually is his real house at the time, right on the beautiful beach in California there. Yeah. Guy's worth about $1 billion. Not too bad for
But see, and here's the thing. All right, I get it. The guys, but really, he's in a t-shirt. It looks like crap. It sounds like crap. We did the best we can to clean it up, but it's like
Yeah.
That's to me, and I don't want to throw shade on people, but I'm going to throw shade on people.
Right.
As far as I'm concerned, I don't care who you are in your journey, you deserve my respect.
Yeah.
And that means I'm going to show up in a way that shows you that you have my respect. And I'm not just going to show up like, yeah, all right, I'll throw you a bone.
Yeah.
I might be on the can when we do our podcast, but I'll, excuse me while I wipe.
Yeah. No, I think he was trying to project this cool image where, he was in shades and a hat and a T-shirt,
so
like on his patio facing the ocean. So I think he was trying to project like this cool guy lifestyle, But
I see.
You're, I think you're coming from a perspective of, so the finest restaurant in town here in Rochester is what? Red's, maybe we'll say. Have you been to Red's?
I would not know anything about fine dining.
Well, this guy, Reddington, he's a big chef from Napa, and he grew up in Rochester. He came back. So, but you could go to Red's, you could go to Chipotle, you could go to McDonald's, right? I think you are the Red's. When it comes to audio and video, like you notice, right? Like you want the chef's kiss on all the audio and all the video out there because you do such a good job, and it breaks your heart when people are at a subpar level, right? So
I suppose, but even if it looked and sounded like crap, but he wore a nice shirt,
that would help out too. Yeah. I put on a nice shirt for you.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
you do.
I try.
Yeah.
But I have to tell you, so I had Jesse Cole on, right? From Savannah Bananas.
Yeah.
Right before he took off, right? He was bubbling, starting to do well. I got him on my show. But I'll give him respect because I asked about a year ago, I sent him an email to be on the podcast again. And he respectfully sent me a video message back. He recorded a video and emailed it to me. And it wasn't like this generic thing. It was like, hey, Dave, really appreciate you reaching out. And he's walking around the baseball field like before one of the games, as he's doing this video. And he goes, I love being on your podcast. I totally remember you. He's like, but we're just so darn busy right now. Like, I can't do what you're asking right now. But let's keep in touch. Maybe downtime we'll do it again. But because you're killing it. I love doing your show. You're very good at what you do. And it was really nice, that he still had that
thoughtful,
that personal touch, even though he is almost untouchable now because he's just so darn busy,
Yeah. And it's the busy part that I get. And I know that just from firsthand experience, and I am nowhere near as busy as the guy that runs the Savannah Bananas. But, this, when you're starting your own thing and you're the principal in it, everything comes to you. And so, like, I know you dealt with that with your magazine back in the day, where it was like initially it was all in your head and you were doing everything. And what was like you were striving at that point to get it to where you weren't the principal, you weren't the main thing, like the magazine, the business, whatever would continue without you if you didn't show up for 3 days. And I think that's like the goal of every entrepreneur, right? You want to build a business that can run and do things without you, so that because if you get sick, then everything grinds to a halt.
That's the trick right there. I had read a book back in the day called The E-Myth. I believe the author's name is Michael Gerber, and the whole premise was setting up your business so you're working on it, not in it. And his example was a lady that make great pies. People loved her pies.
Yeah.
Line out the door, but she was always making the pies. She couldn't grow until finally she taught somebody how to make the pies. And then so she was able to work on it, not in it, and then franchise the pie business around the country. So it was like a metaphor for, learning how to let go, train people so that you're free. Like, if you want to go to Ireland for 3 weeks, you can do it, and your son is running the show, no problem, or who's ever in charge, And I did that. I mean, I got it to a point where I would go, I have family in Sicily, and I went there for 3 weeks. And this is back when it was like the internet was not great, and
This was like late 90s or
no, this was probably 2005, 2006.
Oh, okay.
Even earlier, 2002, 2003, but like they couldn't email me, they couldn't text me, that's for sure.
Yeah.
They could call, a relative's house, and if they could, get through the Sicilian dialect language, they could leave a message for me. But it was like, I pretty much like, I would call once a week just to make sure the place wasn't on fire, but they ran it. And it was good for two reasons. Number one, I had a great time. But number two, it forced them to kind of, quote unquote, grow up and run the business on their own without me. It enabled them to be able to run the day to day and not have to say like, oh crap, get Dave. Like they had to make the decisions. I remember I walked back in the office after 3.5 weeks, whatever. And they were like, welcome back. And they were like, go back. We're doing great.
What are you doing here?
Yeah.
We don't want you here anymore. Yeah, I love that. And I was wondering when I was thinking about what we were going to talk about.
There's so much.
I was thinking about, because that was a time when that business, can I say it failed? What happened? It because there was a.
Well, I sold it, so it wasn't.
Oh, you sold it. Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
I sold Next Step. No, so 21 years. I started in '95 when print was still a thing. It was a printed magazine for high school students. 95 people still like read newspapers and magazines.
Right.
Up until I would say 2009, 2010, print was still a thing, but it was changing. And then I would say after that, I would get calls from my advertisers like, Dave, we love you, love the magazine. We just don't want print anymore. We want more, online solutions, etc. So I tried to do that as most magazines and newspapers did. I tried to offer this hybrid model where they were in the magazine and online and doing like online lead generation and all that stuff. But it never was the same. The revenue model is not the same. Because you can only sell so much on the website, whereas in the magazine, we had all these pages to sell. I had 17 editions. Clients could buy more than one edition. They could buy the national edition. So it went from we were doing $5 million in revenue, very profitable. My poop didn't stink, paying for cash for cars, my house was paid off, etc. To like, oh crap. So I ended up putting it all online, really lost interest. It just didn't be, I'm not like an online cost per lead marketer, dude. I'm more about creating good content and then monetizing that. So I lost interest. My mistake was I kept the people too long because I loved them. They helped me build the business, and I kept the model too long. I should have transitioned a lot earlier. And things changed. I went from like having a printing cash to struggling with expenses and then debt. So I ended up finding somebody that wanted to buy it, so stopped the bleeding and got rid of it. So
okay. So I didn't know that, and actually we've never done this podcast.
Right.
I've never sat down with you and actually talked to you about that whole experience and what happened with that.
Yep.
So that's very interesting. I didn't realize that you sold that business. Well, good.
Yep.
I was under the impression that because everything went digital and you were doing print, that it just went belly up. So I'm glad that you were able to get out.
Yep.
On kind of a good foot.
I stopped the bleeding, and it certainly was a struggle to build back up again from scratch, right?
Well, that's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about when that happened. That climb back out of the pit of despair that you go through when it's like, all right,
abyss of hell.
Yeah. When you're just like, I built this thing and now this thing is no more. What do I do? It's almost like a child, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's like your child just moved away to, the other side of the world.
Right.
What do I do now?
Yeah.
So what was that process like for you when you were rebuilding yourself and reinventing yourself?
Yeah. Well, God has blessed me with some extra serotonin in my brain, so I'm always positive, which is good for this podcast, right? I'm always finding a way. I'm always optimistic, always finding solutions. Yes, even during the struggles, I believe like you have to continue to deal with the struggles. You can't ignore them, but at the same time, you have to think of a positive path forward. And for me, I thought, well, I was helping high school students for so many years. Now let me help entrepreneurs, because I did a lot of things right, but I also made a lot of mistakes, which kind of certifies me to help people start and grow businesses, right? Because I could be like, don't do that. I did that. Here's what happened. Or I could give them some good advice too from my experiences, right? So I decided to start a company that would help people start and grow businesses. So I was thinking, like, the magazine was called Next Step. So I was thinking, what's the Italian word for next step? And the best one was Avanti, because Avanti means move forward in Italian. So I called it the Avanti Entrepreneur Network. And it started out with a coaching program. It started out with a podcast, so I'm still creating content. And then I thought, if I do like events for entrepreneurs locally, I'll make money with the events, but also everybody in the audience is a prospect for my coaching business, right? So I started doing events. 2016, I had two in 2016, and then another one. And then people just love the events. And I was much better at the events and the podcast than I was coaching. Coaching, you have to have a certain amount of patience. And I just, you know me, I'm not like, I don't have that priest-like quality of being patient. I'm like, talk to me.
Come on, let's go. Let's go.
Like, come on, what are you, stupid? But so people were like, great events, Dave, great events. So the networking, the speakers. So I kind of turned the company into a monthly event company for entrepreneurs. And they would pay a yearly membership fee. And for that, we would have a monthly event. It'd be the third Thursday of every month after work, 5 p.m. Different places, country clubs, restaurants, businesses. The first half would be, beer, wine, hors d'oeuvres, networking. And then the second half, I'd bring in a really cool speaker to teach them about, sales, marketing. It could be an entrepreneur sharing their story. Like Aaron Newman was one of my speakers, cloud checker. And so built that up to about 100 members. And then we started licensing it to different cities, Buffalo, Syracuse, Toronto, New York City, New Jersey, Burlington, Vermont, because I had a friend there. So now I, kind of with like the Next Step model, which I had franchised into different states, I'm licensing this into different cities and it's going great. I'm like, all right, here I go again. And then COVID hits. And what hurts, one of the things that COVID hit the most was, live events, right? So now I'm getting, now I'm like Rocky, getting, punched by that Drago, the Russian guy, right?
You will lose.
I'm like, I'm knocked down again, we go online, but people are just sick of online stuff after a while during COVID. You're online, you're on Zoom all day for school or work, blah, blah, blah. Last thing you want to do is spend another 2 hours online, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. So dwindling. So I put it on hold. And then, during COVID, just doing business consulting, doing some online speaking. And this is where you come in big time. So we all had some extra time to think during COVID, to ponder our life, right? And in my 20s, I did a lot of stand-up comedy. And I missed it. And I hadn't done it since, because I, married, kids, got the business going. So I stopped doing comedy. I'm like, I miss it. So during COVID, I'm like, what if I kind of brought it back? And I did a show that combined my love of comedy with my experience in business. So I called Mark Ippolito and Todd Yugman at Comedy at Carlson, who you know very well too. And I said, guys, I got an idea. I know your stars come in usually Thursday, Friday, Saturday. How about I do a show on a Wednesday night? And I bet I could get a couple hundred people there because I know a lot of people in the community. And I'll do a show called Putting Funny Back in Business. And it'll be about like my business experience, but with some laughs. And Mark was like, love it. Let's do it. Todd coached me. Todd's great because I hadn't done comedy in a while. And you were there filming it. Thank you. And do we still say filming it? Or you were there doing the video for it?
Recording it.
Yeah. And we did. I mean, you may remember there was about 200 people there, which is
it was a good crowd. It was a good night
for a headliner.
Yeah,
and loved it. Was on fire. Raised money for Make-A-Wish. But at that age, which God was I 54 then 53, I was like, I don't think I want to be a full-time stand-up comedian. Right. So I had the idea, like, well, what if I turn this into more of a professional training and keynote talk where I go into businesses and business events where I teach them about how to professionally infuse humor, levity, joy, play into the workplace to grow leadership, sales, retention, culture, teamwork, etc. And that's my main revenue source right now. Is I just was in Boston last week speaking at a conference, and I go into businesses all the time and do trainings and development and retreats and keynote speeches at events. And that's the favorite thing I do. Podcasting and public speaking. That's the favorite thing I do.
Well, you do them well.
Well, thank you.
You do them well.
I do only one thing well. I talk. So,
Hey, at least you could turn that into revenue. That's fine.
Exactly.
So, being that you've been working with entrepreneurs for a while now, so you've seen the different trends in business. What have you seen for, I'd say, newer entrepreneurs, the younger crowd? What have you seen trends in that crowd as in comparison to some of the older folks when you first started out working with entrepreneurs?
Yeah.
What kind of changes have you seen with the younger people? What are they doing that's different that makes you go, oh, yeah, that's weird? In a good way or a bad way, whatever.
Yeah, I would. A lot of people are crapping on this generation because they think they're lazy, they don't want to work. But I got to tell you, the young people that I see, I'm an entrepreneur in residence at the Golisano Institute and our U of R Simon School in the Ames Center for Entrepreneurship, and just in general, these young people are damn bright. They just, I mean, when I was 20, and maybe when you were 20, like
I was an idiot when I was
my
20.
focus was like, hey, I'm going to ask her out tonight after I have 3 beer funnels to get my liquid courage. That was like my goal. These are I have students at U of R that are like one student literally invented a substitute to skin so that like makeup companies, et cetera, can do testing on his product instead of animal skin testing or things like, and they say that they don't do that, but they do in other countries, so. And so like he's 20, right? I'm like, what? And then I got another guy at the Golisano Institute who is killing it. He's a student. He's only 19. He set up this car detailing business, which sounds simple, but he's got a mobile van. He goes to wherever you are. You could be at work. He's got a 50-gallon water tank in his truck, and he does it right there on the spot. The kid did was $140,000 in revenue last year. Wow. And his profit margins are 74%.
Wow.
I'm like, you're making more than most adults right now, buddy, in America. And so what I'm finding is that they're just really bright. They're really focused. They do want to work hard. But what I'm finding it too is that they want to have more purpose. They want to have like their own fingerprint on the business. They want to have something more than just making money. They want to make a difference, And I love that. That just makes me so happy. They're really smart too when it comes to marketing. The marketing has been democratized because iPhone.
Yeah, if you think about it, they grew up with all of these marketing tools, and they're learning them as they're growing up. Yeah. Whereas back in the day, you had to learn that stuff in school. There wasn't anything that you could just be doing.
Or you had to buy a TV ad or a radio ad or a newspaper ad.
Right.
Now
the landscape is different.
They can do a video on their phone. They can break it up into some shorter clips, YouTube Shorts, whatever, like you do for me. Thank you. And some of them are just killing it with that too, and so I think every generation in the beginning, people are always worried about them. Like the hippies, right, back in the 60s. Well, they went on to be the bankers and the lawyers, and they created the thriving 80s, right? I mean, and I'm Gen X, right? They thought we were like disenchanted and aloof, and
well, we kind of are, but.
What? Where are we? But and so I always think the adult generation is always going to worry about like all these kids. But they're kids. They're growing up. I mean, men. I don't think their brain fully develops until age 27 or 28.
Right.
I'm still working at it. I'm a little late bloomer. I'm getting there. Women are a little bit earlier than us. I think it's scientifically proven that women are more like 21, 23, and that makes sense, right? As we see men who are 25 still doing very stupid things, but
that's all we do.
But I'm very impressed with this younger generation, especially of entrepreneurs. Very hopeful, and I think it's just going to be a really cool, nimble world. One thing they don't do is they don't trust as much, like when something is like over professional, like this old guy wearing a suit and tie on a TV commercial on TV, I found out that they don't trust that stuff as much anymore. Well, they will trust, somebody like you and me just having a conversation where the video it's good.
They see authenticity.
Exactly.
They see through a lack of authenticity.
That's it right there. You're right. Yeah. Authenticity and just, not, when I say professional, like you do professional video and audio.
Overly polished.
But when it's when the person is overly polished, overly professional, as you said, that's great.
He's reading from a teleprompter. He's wearing a three-piece suit.
Anymore. Yeah. Your son, how old is he? I just met him.
20-something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So my kid's 20. 22, 21, and 15. I can't remember the last time they turned on the TV. I really can't. Turned on the TV.
He'll be 23 next month.
Oh, happy birthday, buddy. My son will be 23 in August, so we'll hook you.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
I guess you go bowling. You do that anyway?
Do they go bowling? Do you guys go bowling? No, he doesn't. What's bowling?
What is bowling? No, but, ask your son, when's the last time he turned on the TV? They don't. They turn on their phone.
And they turn on the TV and they watch YouTube.
Or they do that, right? Yeah, but is that really the TV?
But it's not. I mean,
it's a screen at that point, right?
And that's really what a TV is now. It's just a screen that you watch content on. Right. It's not.
Yeah.
I mean, some people, like my in-laws, will still have a TV, near their dining room table that plays Channel 13 and Channel 8 News and stuff like that through cable. But do you still have cable? Do you still have? I
don't. I'm footless and fancy free. I have Netflix and Amazon.
Right?
So yeah.
We got rid of our cable, maybe 5-6 years ago or even longer. I can't remember now.
Cut the cord.
Yeah. It was just like, why?
Yeah. Well, your in-laws probably have a landline phone too, right?
No, actually, they just got rid of their landline phone a few years ago.
They are hip and cool.
Yes. But there are some positives to having a landline because when the power goes out, if you have a regular phone that's plugged into the socket, you still have phone.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
You can't have a cordless though, because that obviously will not work.
The old school, right? Yeah.
That doesn't mean that I have a landline, but.
Well, sometimes it's nice not having the ability to be communicated with as well.
Well, see, that's the thing. That's the thing. Now let's go back to you going to Italy, to Sicily, and I'm
not Italian. I'm Sicilian.
Whatever. So you were at the tip of the boot, the little thing getting kicked by the boot.
No, I'm the ball getting kicked.
The ball.
By the
football.
Yeah.
Football.
Yeah.
So let's go back to that time where you were able to get away. You were able to disconnect and unplug.
Oh, yeah.
And now, how hard is that? How hard is it to actually, because everybody has, even in Europe now, everybody has a smartphone.
Oh, yeah. Now it's completely different.
There's internet. I mean, I remember when I went to Europe, this was in the late 90s, internet cafes were a big thing, right?
Yeah.
So you'd go find an internet cafe so you could check my emails and stuff like that. And now everybody's got a smartphone.
Yeah.
They're all connected, even in out in the boondocks, in the hills and whatnot. You could still probably get something.
Yeah.
So how valuable is it to disconnect now, in your opinion?
I think it's more and more valuable. I mean, I even do it here. I try to make it a point, especially on Sundays, to put my phone away. And I'll check it every now and then to make sure, mom hasn't called with an emergency or something, right? Or kids, but. And it's so nice. It takes a while. Like when I would go to Sicily back, when communication was tough, for the first few days, it's almost like a withdrawal.
Yeah.
You're like such a slow pace. You hear the wind, right? I mean, it's just so but then your body and brain gets used to it and you love it. You get used to the pace. Like, oh, this is nice. Oh, we're going to have dinner at 2:00 and then I'm going to take a nap and go for a walk about 7:00 and get some gelato. This is nice.
Right.
America's a Ponzi scheme. This is great,
Well, and they have that, what do they call it? That period of time. I know it like in Spain, they call it
the siesta.
The siesta.
Yeah, they still do that in Sicily. So.
Where it's like everything shuts down from 1 to 4 o'clock.
Yeah. You better not have a heart attack at 2:30 because you're done. Dr. Colangelo is he's home with his family. It was a pasta. He'll open up again maybe around 4 or 5. But yeah. So and then what's funny too, and then when you come back to America, when I would come back, and then the pace picks up again. Obviously, you're a little depressed for a while because it's like, is this pace really worth it? I was so happy,
Yeah.
But you realize that, you can't like live like that all the time. And people do that over there, but it's a very different lifestyle, right?
Do you think you could live over there?
I wouldn't want to live over there full time, but part of the year, every year, that would be fantastic. Yeah. And not just Sicily. I mean, the dream is, so I have my youngest son's a freshman in high school. So when he's out, I would love to keep Rochester my home base because I love it here. Mm-hmm. But then also just Airbnb it around the world. Just have the freedom to be like, you know what? I want to live in Madrid for a month or, Austria or whatever, Australia, and just be able to be footloose and fancy free, but still have a home base here in Rochester.
I love that idea. And that's something like my wife and I have always talked about, getting a big old camper bus type of thing and just driving around and living in that for a couple of, I know a good friend of mine, former radio guy here turned realtor. He does that. He drives around 6 months out of the year.
Wow.
He's driving around in this big old bus. It's cool as hell.
Yeah.
And they got all the comforts of home in that bus. They got a microwave and a refrigerator and a television.
That's all you need. And a pooper. You're all set, right? So
I don't know about if I'd love to visit Australia, but when I think about Australia, there are so many things that can eat you in Australia.
What are those big things called that like they see the beach? You see them on a beach sometimes. Something monster or something like, but those.
The like death wasps or something.
Well,
like that?
no, they're like these reptiles that never went away from the.
The Gila monsters,
something like that. Yeah, like they literally
Komodo
eat people.
dragons.
Komodo dragon. That's what I'm thinking about. I said monster. Komodo dragon. Yeah. Like I'm not a big reptile guy anyway. Like
they have spiders that eat birds. I mean, I just don't want to do that.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. I mean. It's funny, as I said, I do some work at the Golisano Institute, and the other day I walked to the entrance, and there was a big snapping turtle. Sometimes they just like randomly wander places, right at the entrance, right in the sidewalk, and and I know turtles move slow, but I still was like petrified. I'm like tiptoeing around it.
Things that take your hand off.
Yeah, like I'm just not a big reptile guy. Snakes, even frogs. I'm like, get away from me. But bugs I'm okay with, but reptiles, something instinctively. I must have, maybe in a past life I was eaten by a Komodo dragon or something. But yeah, I can see your point. Even going to Florida, and you're from Florida. Yeah. Like the thought of like seeing an alligator, that scares the hell out of me too.
I remember as a kid when we first moved down. I moved down from Long Island when I was 5, and we lived with my grandmother for a year. And she had little. I mean, if you see the house, it's like typical old style Florida 1950s house. Yeah. With a little boat launch. Mm-hmm. And I came home from school, and there was like probably a 13-foot alligator sunning itself, and it's like,
right, yeah.
That thing was 4 times the size of me.
Right.
That was crazy.
Right,
but
and it could eat you.
I'm glad I moved out of Florida. And not for the alligators.
Right, yeah. Many different reasons. Right?
Many different reasons. It's too hot in Florida now.
The humidity.
I think I've definitely become a Rochesterian.
We have accepted you with open arms. You are.
This is my home. This is my home.
Through osmosis, you are officially a Rochesterian. So you even act like one. I mean, it's like I would think you're from Rochester.
That's not right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Say it with me. Rochester.
Rochester.
Oh yeah. Now we just say the Rock. We're cool now, right?
The Rock.
Come to the Rock.
Rock Vox.
Hey. Yeah. Hey, Rock Vox. There you go.
So what's in the future for David Mammano? What do you got? What's
I have an idea that I and it probably will involve you to some extent too, because it's a TV show. I have this idea for a TV show, and I think I've toyed with it past couple of years with you, talking it through. I was going to make it a documentary at one time.
Yeah.
But now I think I'm just going to make it into a TV show where, in the spirit of Anthony Bourdain, going from city to city, but instead of exploring a city's, food culture or food ecosystem, I'm going to explore their ecosystem of entrepreneurship.
That's fun.
So I love that idea. I've had it in my head forever. And, the name I'm thinking about is the Good Business Tour. So, and almost like you said, like renting a Winnebago, or like maybe I'll get like a VW van or something, one of those from like the 60s, hit the road and just go city to city and explore the history of entrepreneurship in that city, the support systems, and then really just again, hitting the road, interviewing really cool entrepreneurs.
Checking out the incubators that they have in different cities and stuff.
It could be, the immigrant who has a coffee shop in the city, and it could be, the PhD person who has this, new optics business that's changing the world, and that, everywhere in between, right? And again, businesses that are not only making money, but they're making a difference. They're doing something cool.
Yeah.
Maybe, Donna Didi, she's got that company where they make pies, and the money goes for, people with disabilities. But they actually have people, that work there that have disabilities. They hire people with disabilities.
What's that called again?
She's going to kill me for not remembering it. But
we get their pies every year.
Yeah, they're great pies.
The pecan pie is the best.
Yeah,
it is absolutely inspired.
Yeah. Well, I'll I'll find it out, and we'll put it on the screen for Donna. Right?
Talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to look it up.
Yeah. But no. So the people with disabilities, I mean, most of them can work and want to have meaning in their life, career wise, and be productive members of society. But oftentimes they're just put in homes, and and they're watched there, etc. But they get to work. They get to they love it. So that would be a good business to interview, right? Like you're making money for a nonprofit, but you're also involving people that are benefiting from the funds into making the product as well. Yeah. So I love those businesses. And there's a lot of businesses out there doing that are just doing cool things to make the community, the country, the world a better place.
I agree.
While making money. So
I agree. Well, that's a great purpose, and you do that. You do that in your own way. You help people. I can throw a rock anywhere in Rochester, and chances are I'm going to hit two people that know you.
Two people.
So,
all right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because it's Rochester. So, but I appreciate you. I appreciate our relationship, our friendship, and our business relationship. And, make sure you check out Dave Mammano's podcast, the David Mammano Show on Gotham Network, and wherever you get your podcasts, of course, and davidmammano.com, where you can find more information about Dave and connect with him personally. And he will connect you with any of the fine people that he has been connected to. That's why I call you the Great Connector. I really do. I call you the Great Connector, and I appreciate you. And this has been a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, well, right back at you. You're a great addition to the community, doing great things. Whenever I ask you to do something, you're like, let's make it happen. Even though I drive you nuts sometimes, you're like Scott, I went from 3 people in the studio to 10. Can we do it? And you're like, after a couple F-bombs, you find a way. You find a way. And I love that about you,
He speaks the truth.
I'm your favorite pain in the ass, I hope, right?
Awesome. Well, we'll catch you next time, and thank you for slathering with me.
Good slatherings.
.com